think has more impact on your financial decisions, your income or your mindset? Would you believe that how you view and think about money matters more than how much money you make? If you're striving for financial success and want some insight into how your thinking impacts your probability of building wealth, then I have a book for you. Welcome to Money Tip Tuesday from the Making Money Personal podcast. Financial education can come from so many places. Lessons can be learned through experience, observing the actions of others, formal education, or exploring resources across the internet. For those who like to learn through reading, one financial book you should read is called The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. I really enjoyed this book, and I found it really easy to understand and very relatable. It was written to explain away the notion that only highly intelligent people of great means can be successful, and it makes specific points on how mindset and behavior impact our ability to build and maintain wealth. Originally written in 2018 as a short report, the content was later expanded on and published as a book. It's not a long read, as Housel's choice was to make the book of smaller, shorter points that someone would finish reading than one long one that they wouldn't. The book starts off with lessons from the lives of two men, one who was incredibly wealthy, loved to show it, but eventually lost it, and another of a man who didn't appear wealthy but stunned everyone when he left multi-millions in inheritance and endowments upon his death. One went broke, the other left a financial legacy. The question these two very different stories raise is, what made the difference in these two people's lives that led to such contrasting outcomes? Housel attempts to answer this question in his book when he states, quote, "Doing well with money has a little to do with how smart you are and a lot to do with how you behave." The goal for readers is that they'll apply the principles outlined in the book to cultivate a healthier relationship with money, make more informed decisions, and ultimately achieve greater financial stability and peace of mind. Throughout the book, Housel lists up to 20 points on how our psychology around money affects our behavior. But because I don't have time to go over all of them, here are some of the more notable ones that stood out to me. In the first one in the book, he mentions how important it is to remember how the decisions that people make with their money are tied to their individual experiences with the way the world works. Because those experiences vary widely, such as a child growing up in poverty versus another raised in luxury, the financial behaviors of one would seem completely foreign to the other. Housel makes his point when he states, quote, "What looks crazy to you might make sense to me, but no one is crazy. We all make decisions based on our own unique experiences that seem to make sense to us in a given moment." I felt that this point serves as a good reminder that there should be no expectation that everyone will have the exact same behavior around money, as they're not all influenced by the same experiences. We should be understanding enough to know that poor financial habits or decisions are not due to lack of intelligence. They're more simply due to someone acting on the way they've grown to understand the world. Another important point that he addresses is what can happen when what you have is never enough. The subtitle to this point is "When Rich People Do Crazy Things." The whole purpose of this point is to emphasize how important it is to know when you have enough, as greed can drive people to do crazy things, and as he points out, drive rich people to do crazier things. Housel shares stories of a few wealthy individuals like Bernie Madoff, whose push to accumulate more wealth led to compromising decisions and ultimately jail sentences. I felt this point was a really good reminder of how easy and dangerous it can be to fall into this mindset. It's important to recognize the impact and challenges having wealth can have on us, like the added pressure from social comparisons, the moving of financial goalposts, and the temptation to take unethical risks in an attempt to gain more money. And a final point that stood out to me is his assertion that controlling your time is the highest dividend money pays. In other words, seek freedom. For many people, the desire to be wealthy is rooted in the desire to be happy. The book lists some scientific research showing that there's a strong correlation between someone's happiness and their ability to control their own life. He states, quote, "More than your salary, more than the size of your house, more than the prestige of your job, control over doing what you want, when you want, with the people that you want to, is the broadest variable that makes people happy." The idea from this point is how important it is to make intentional decisions with your money, decisions that bring you closer to being able to enjoy this freedom. This type of freedom could be anything like having peace during an unexpected job loss, the ability to choose a new job with lower pay but more flexible hours, or the ability to retire when you want to and not when you have to. He shares further, quote, You realize that aligning money towards a life that lets you do what you want, when you want, with who you want, where you want, for as long as you want, has incredible return. I've chosen to apply this point as a personal ethos in my own life because I believe that investing in financial freedom enables a lifestyle that can sustain new opportunities and the true enjoyment of vocations. As previously mentioned, there are so many more points in the book about building wealth, like the importance of compounding, yet how it can be confusing to implement, that others are not as impressed with our possessions as we might be, and that real wealth is not always obvious and recognizable. If you're interested in checking them out, get the book, because it's worth the read. To sum it all up, I'll use a final quote from the book. Financial success is not a hard science. It's a soft skill where how you behave is more important than what you know. This perspective underscores the book's relevance, highlighting that our actions with money are often driven by emotions, biases, and personal experiences rather than purely rational calculations. By recognizing and addressing these psychological factors, you can better navigate your financial journey and achieve greater financial well-being. If there are any other tips or topics you'd like us to cover, let us know at tcupodcast@trianglecu.org. Like and follow our Making Money Personal Facebook and Instagram pages, and look for our sponsor, Triangle Credit Union, on social media to share your thoughts. Thanks for listening to today's Money Tip Tuesday. Check out our other tips and episodes on the Making Money Personal podcast. Have a great day, everyone.